Before the CIA's infamous MK-Ultra program shocked the world in the 1970s, the groundwork was being laid in the darkest corners of World War II. In concentration camps and secret facilities across Axis-controlled territory, scientists were pioneering the brutal intersection of pharmacology and psychological warfare. This is the untold story of how Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan's experiments with truth serums and hallucinogens became the blueprint for Cold War intelligence operations. It connects Dachau concentration camp to CIA safe houses, links Japanese war criminals to American programs, and reveals how the pursuit of the ultimate interrogation tool transformed modern intelligence agencies. The experiments were brutal. The science was crude, but the legacy would echo through decades, raising questions about the ethics of national security we're still grappling with today. Nazi Germany industrialized truth serum experiments. In 1936, the SS established a dedicated research program within the concentration camp system. Dr. Kurt Plötner was appointed to lead pharmacological research at Dachau, with orders to develop reliable interrogation drugs for use against resistance fighters and captured spies. Heinrich Himmler personally approved the program in early 1937. What made these experiments particularly sinister was the ready availability of human test subjects who had no legal protections and whose suffering would never be officially documented. Plötner's experiments at Dachau began in 1938. According to Nuremberg doctors' trial testimony and declassified reports, he focused on mescaline, a psychedelic compound synthesized by German chemists in 1919. Prisoners were given varying doses of mescaline in coffee or water. Within an hour, the drug produced vivid hallucinations and severe disorientation. During this vulnerable state, SS interrogators questioned subjects about resistance networks and classified information. Plötner documented approximately 30 mescaline experiments between 1938 and 1940, though the actual number was likely much higher. Doses ranged from 100 to 400 milligrams, far exceeding safe levels. The effects were devastating, terrifying hallucinations, psychological breaks, and permanent psychosis. One documented case involved 3 Austrian prisoners in February 1940. Given 200 milligrams of mescaline, they were interrogated continuously for 8 hours. Under the drug's influence, they revealed details about underground resistance cells in Vienna, leading to multiple arrests. All 3 suffered severe psychological trauma, with one never fully recovering. Dachau researchers also tested scopolamine, morphine combinations, and various barbiturates, searching for a drug that would lower psychological defenses without rendering subjects incoherent. The experiments continued until 1942 when Plötner was transferred. His research notes would later be captured by American forces and become closely guarded CIA documents. Imperial Japan's Unit 731 pursued an even darker path. Operating near Harbin in occupied Manchuria from 1935 to 1945, this biological warfare facility employed over 3,000 staff under General Shiro Ishii, a microbiologist who convinced Japanese leadership that biological weapons could offset Japan's industrial disadvantages. While infamous for plague and anthrax research, a lesser-known division focused on pharmaceutical mind control. According to testimony at the 1948 Tokyo War Crimes Tribunal, one section was dedicated to special interrogation pharmaceuticals. Chinese POWs, Korean civilians, and captured Soviet soldiers were test subjects for various compounds derived from traditional medicinal plants. Japanese scientists focused on botanical compounds found in Asian flora, particularly substances that could be deployed covertly in food or water to incapacitate enemy forces. Former staff described experiments with at least 15 different psychoactive compounds between 1938 and 1945, including datura derivatives, opium mixtures, and synthesized chemicals causing extreme disorientation. A Korean survivor, Kim Young-soo, imprisoned from 1943 to 1945, described prisoners being forced to ingest unknown substances, then interrogated while researchers observed from behind glass. Some subjects became violently aggressive, others catatonic. Many never recovered mentally. Most records were destroyed before Soviet forces arrived in August 1945. 3 men orchestrated this dark legacy. Dr. Kurt Plötner, born 1900, joined the SS in 1934 with a medical degree from Heidelberg. After the war, he was interrogated by American intelligence but never faced trial at Nuremberg. He worked briefly as a U.S. Army intelligence consultant before disappearing from records in 1948, reportedly living under an assumed name in West Germany until his death in 1985. General Shiro Ishii, born 1892, masterminded Unit 731 after graduating from Kyoto Imperial University's medical school. After Japan's surrender, he negotiated complete immunity in exchange for providing all research data to American forces. He never faced war crimes charges and died of throat cancer in Tokyo in 1959. Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, born 1918 in the Bronx, became the American inheritor of this legacy. With a Ph.D. from Caltech, he joined the CIA in 1951, and by 1953 was directing the Technical Services Division with full access to captured Nazi and Japanese files. He would use them as the foundation for MK-Ultra, passing away in 1999. As World War II ended, American intelligence faced a dilemma. Captured Nazi research represented years of brutal human testing that would be impossible to replicate legally. The data was scientifically valuable, even if morally indefensible. In summer 1945, teams of intelligence officers systematically reviewed captured Axis documents. The pharmaceutical interrogation files were immediately classified and shipped to Washington. Similarly, General MacArthur's occupation government made a controversial deal. General Ishii and his Unit 731 staff received complete immunity in exchange for all research data. Documents declassified in the 1990s reveal American officials justified this by citing Soviet interest in the same research. By 1947, the newly formed CIA had compiled extensive files on Axis mind control experiments. These became the foundation for Project Bluebird in 1950, renamed Project Artichoke in 1951, and expanded into MK-Ultra in 1953 under Gottlieb's direction. While Dachau experiments involved dozens of subjects, MK-Ultra would encompass 149 sub-projects conducted at 80 institutions, including universities, hospitals, and prisons. The agency tested mescaline, LSD-25, and dozens of other hallucinogens. Between 1953 and 1973, thousands of Americans were unwittingly dosed with psychedelic drugs. The most notorious operations occurred in Operation Midnight Climax, where CIA-run safe houses in San Francisco and New York served as laboratories. Recruited prostitutes would bring clients to these locations, dose their drinks with LSD, and CIA agents observed through two-way mirrors. The direct line from Dachau to CIA headquarters represents one of the most morally complex chapters in intelligence history. The brutal Axis experiments violated every principle of medical ethics and human rights. Yet American intelligence made a calculated decision. The knowledge was too valuable to discard, too dangerous to leave to Soviet intelligence. When journalist Seymour Hersh exposed MK-Ultra in 1974, followed by the Church Committee investigations in 1975, Americans learned their government had conducted mind control experiments on unwitting citizens. The revelations damaged CIA credibility for a generation. Dr. Gottlieb had personally destroyed most MK-Ultra records in 1973, just as investigators began asking questions. Only about 20,000 documents survived, discovered by chance in a misfiled budget box. These confirmed the CIA's quest for mind control had directly built upon the Nazi and Japanese foundation, inheriting not just research data, but the same ethical blindness. Today, the full extent of these experiments remains partially classified. The CIA has acknowledged that techniques from this period influenced modern interrogation programs. The ethical questions raised in 1938 remain unresolved. When does national security justify experimentation on human subjects? Where is the line between intelligence gathering and human rights violations? The victims never received full justice. Most Nazi researchers escaped prosecution. General Ishii died peacefully. Dr. Gottlieb was never criminally charged and spent his retirement raising goats on a Virginia farm. The dark partnership between wartime atrocity and Cold War intelligence remains one of history's most troubling examples of how strategic advantage can compromise fundamental human values. The experiments that began in 1938 didn't end with World War II. They simply changed sponsors, moved locations, and continued under new code names, their origins buried in classified files that are only now beginning to see light.